I do need 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It needs to be 6. I learned if you only tape the corners, the wind will take it off.
How you doing?
When I first started postering, I thought it was pretty basic, simple thing. There's nothing to it. There's more to it than you would think. I've actually learned about postering since I started postering. So. This is a way I can give people the direct word of God. They don't even have to come to our church. They can just read themselves what God says, how to live forever, which is really why I'm doing this. This is one of the main reasons. I would always staple here because this is a really nice surface for stapling. But I can tape because this is the public message center, not just the board. I will enter his gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter his courts with praise. I will say this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice for he has made me glad. He has made me glad. He has made me glad. I will rejoice for he has made me glad. I was a campus preacher. So I would preach at the university. I had a sign that I held at the street, but it would just be so cold just to stand there for 4 hours in the winter. I thought, try posters. Post the posters, they'll be up there, everybody can read them, and I don't have to stay out there for hours every day. But then suddenly, I know I put a bunch of posters right around Islington and Lakeshore. They're all gone. Let me walk the street and wait a minute. All 50 of them are gone. I just put them up yesterday. What is going on? The vandal, when he did it, always was the same way. He's very distinct in how he would remove the posters. This is a straight cut here. I'm pretty sure he did that. That's what he would always do. It's not like it just got ripped off or something. It's like a knife mark, a knife cut. You know, there's some guy every day tearing down posters, nobody was seeing him. He was doing it in the middle of the day. Whether he intended or not, he was an enemy of the church and our work. Look at all the posters I used to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You know, 21 from different posters. Because I only did one staple basically per poster in this corner. The vandal would stop and talk with Frank.
He loved to take down every poster he could on Lakeshore. And I'd say to him, well, I thought those posters were supposed to say up, and he says he didn't care, they're coming down. And which they were, I mean, the poles were pretty clean, you know. And he had a little bike with a card on it. That was his thing to do.
I started putting up notices about him, and I wanted everyone to know what was going on. Because I felt like if the community knew, they could band together and people could all rise up.
This is one of the posters that we would want to put up on a poster board.
So the posters wouldn't just be off in one area, they'd be off everywhere.
This has been an issue in the community for years and years.
It was kind of like a tale, like nobody really knew what was going on. I don't think that we need to have a vigilante taking down posters in the community.
So one time I was postering here, and all of a sudden a man comes out and he said, I work for the city, you can't put them on the utility poles. I said, sir, they're legal, I have the law with me. He said, I don't care about your law, I'm gonna rip them down. I said, sir, don't rip them down. And he goes up there and he rips them down.
and he figured he would just get away, so he was slowly going on his bicycle. So I run down the park, and I got right next to him. Said, "Sir, excuse me," and then he sees me, and he takes off. He speeds away on his bicycle, and then I took the video.
I see.
But why are you taking them down?
Because they don't belong on the poles. They belong on these bulletin boards.
No, sir.
Proper bulletin boards.
No, sir. The
Yes,
city has
sir.
told me I can put them there.
When I first went to the police with his photo, one officer said, "You know, he looks really familiar." I asked, "Are you sure?" He said, "100% sure. That's Robert Carlyle." He identified him as Robert Carlyle.
How did you know that it was Robert Carlyle when you saw him taking down the posters? Have you talked with him?
I think in general, like somebody might have mentioned his name to me, and then the minister mentioned it once after that, you know. Mr. Robert wasn't the only one doing it. In fact, the Satan worshippers from the south side of Lakeshore, they took them down, and the minister caught them, and they had a bit of interaction, and then the Satan posters came up. You know, it was like a local little, I'll call it a war, like a war of posters. And standing from my point of view, it was great entertainment.
Why did you decide to go to the courts with this versus
Yeah.
continuing with the police?
I was praying how to stop this problem, how to be able to continue my work without so much opposition. So I was praying to God, asking God, what should I do? And when I prayed, God's Spirit told me, fight it legally. And after thinking more about that, I realized that God was saying I should use the courts to fight it.
Hey, Wyatt.
Hey, Joseph, how you been?
Okay, so there's been a lot of developments that have happened since last time you and I spoke. January 17th, I received a phone call from the police that he was in custody. So, as far as I know, he has to appear before a judge, and he gets officially charged. And then I think they're going to set a court date when I have to appear, and then we continue through the trial.
I spent like so many hours studying the legal procedures and what to do. I mean, I had to become a lawyer because I wasn't going to hire a lawyer for this.
Today's hearing is to make him aware of the charges being brought against him, and I have to submit all the evidence that I plan to use at trial to the court. I've talked with this Mr. Carlyle a number of times. He's not insane. He's not out of his mind. He's doing this soberly. He's doing this with malice. How can I prove 1,500 posters? Well, it's not so easy. I have the receipts of all the tape that I was buying, the paper, the ink, just to show, you know, I was printing lots and lots of posters. Yeah. I want to prove what I'm saying, that, yeah, it's been thousands, you know.
Yeah.
And 1,500 is a low estimate. It could be 2,000 or 3,000.
Sir, you cannot take down my property. The city has told me I can put them up there. You cannot do it.
Buddy, I work for the city. I work for Mark Graham's office.
No, you don't. I just checked with them.
Yeah?
They told me you
You
don't.
don't know my name.
It doesn't matter. They told me you don't do it.
I don't care.
They know about you.
There's no law that says I can't take them off the poles.
It's not your property. It's my property.
I know the bylaw. You call 311.
He does sound deeper there than what he sounded like in court. It sounds, because his voice was all over the place in court.
Yeah, it was, but especially a lot of times it went pretty high.
Exactly, yeah, that seemed like a consistent the whole time. Wow.
Is there anything else he said that seemed to indicate that he was the guy? I mean, his face does kind of, I mean, even his teeth, you know, having issues, because that's one of the things I noticed in the video. I wish he would just talk with me. I could explain that the police then made a mistake in wrongly identifying him. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would really get in trouble, because I can just say, you know, like, the police told me for sure this is who the man is, and so that's the name I gave for the private prosecution when I laid the information.
Would you be interested in maybe going back to the courthouse now? Like, we can wrap this up now if you want to try and get a word with him before he leaves, if he's still around.
I would
That's up
like
to you.
I would actually like to before he left. I don't know. He seems somewhat hostile and angry. But there are police around here, so I don't know how dangerous it would be to try to talk with him. All right, let me see if I can find him.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck.
Okay.
God did an amazing thing. After I left you guys at the court, I went looking for him at the courthouse, and I could not find him. I go to transfer buses. There's Robert Carlyle right there at the platform. His behavior was totally different than at the courthouse, because I was able to just have a really candid, open conversation with him and just make it very clear that, look, if you're the wrong guy, I'm happy to get the charges withdrawn from you, because, you know, I don't want you to get in trouble for that. And so I just asked him, you know, you're not going to sue me, right? And he said, how about you give me $10? So I gave him $10, and basically our plan is just to go back to the court in 2 weeks, explain it all to the court, and have the charge dismissed against him.
The cops came and got me. I'm sitting there having a nice cold beer. What the hell? They ruined my night. Some cop, he told me, he said, the picture don't even look like me. Well, he goes, oh, that's Rob Carlyle. So the cop said it was me. And so that was good enough, right? So they came and got me, right?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. He said he was on his bicycle. I haven't been on a bicycle since the 70s. And he walked away and he was on his cell phone. I hate cell phones. I never had a cell phone in my life. I can't stand them, right? You know. So right there, you know. Well, I was going to take this to trial, you know, because I'm innocent. And these are all bills, right? $77. So if I had been found guilty, I would have to pay this. Okay. So I added it all up. $102 there for sharpener, for Canadian pencils, for yellow paper, for green bright paper, for one red bright paper. Something like you'd see on TV.
Okay. How you feeling?
I'm relieved. I'm glad it's finished now. And I've been praying about what to do about the real vandal. And I realized that God has already repaid him for what he has done. It wasn't the way I expected. But what has happened is basically God took away his home.
Do you mind expanding on that?
I've heard, it was interesting, one time I was walking down Lakeshore, I talked with another local about what was going on. He told me that the real criminal was ordered to leave his home by I believe the Toronto Housing Tribunal, and I believe that's God's payback for what he did. The order was given during our court proceedings. I mean, as it was going on, independently, although not completely independently, because I believe God was over the whole process.
And you see this as being, you see closure in this situation then through God?
Yes, I think so. I mean, now that this case has been withdrawn against Robert Carlyle, now that I believe the vandal has had justice served, he's not bothering me anymore. Seems like it's finished for now.
Oh, there's Frank, I think.
Frank! There you are! He's gonna get off. I haven't seen him in such a long time. We used to always talk. Yeah, how's it going?
Not bad. Did we have Robert? Did he actually give you a hug or anything, or no?
I haven't actually talked with him personally. He's just been gone. I heard he got evicted from his home, and I heard his name's not Robert Carlyle.
Well, that's okay.
Robert Carlyle actually got arrested. The real Robert Carlyle I met, and he's not the right guy.
Okay.
I met him at the courthouse.
Okay, so, but the other guy, did you eventually get the right guy in court?
No.
God, what God? I mean, I know what I've seen.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen things differently than you.
Yeah.
I've seen the truth.
Yeah.
And you've seen what's presented to you. You know, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a struggle.
So the cat was chasing its tail. You were the cat. Loving it.
I believe there was some productive work that happened, although there was a lot of opposition. But they stayed up quite a bit for a while. There were 3 weeks every day I made sure they stayed up at Humber. It wasn't a total waste of time.
I think you did a good job.
I will enter his gates with thanksgiving in my heart. I will enter his courts with praise. I will say this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice for he has made me glad. He has made me glad. He has made me glad. I will rejoice for he has made me glad. He knows about that. How's it going? He knows all about it.
The poster.
You know about the poster. They're doing a documentary about the poster battle.
Oh, yeah?
And you know all about it, right?
Yeah.
Because he's been watching it. He told me he's been watching what was going on.
Oh,
so
yeah?
he just stopped at the corner one time. We were talking about it. Yeah.
The one, well, here's a thing. The two ones over here, those were my work. So, yeah.
The satanic one.
Oh, no, that's not satanic. It's H.P. Lovecraft, man.
What?
H.P. Lovecraft. He's a novelist from like the...
Oh. No, I was talking about a different poster. There was someone putting like satanic symbols and pictures on some posters here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, that was me. Not satanic.
That was you.
Yeah, it's not satanic.
Oh.
No, this little Cthulhu thing. The other one was Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Yeah.
Oh. So why did you do that?
Because it's funny.
Funny?
It's funny.
It didn't look funny.
It's a little bit scary, but you know, like...
So he's the one, apparently,
There
that
we
put
go.
up those posters.
Well, that answers that then.
For fun. And he says they're not satanic.
How do you feel about that?
Gandalf. I don't know.